So what did you think about this movie, Toothless? I don't speak Dragonese. Dreamworks steps up to the live-action universe, turning one of their beloved, if not most beloved, animated film franchises into a live-action movie. I am such a huge fan of the franchise. I have watched everything. I've seen all the movies, I've seen all the short movies, I've watched every episode of the TV shows, including Nine Realms. I just haven't watched the preschool show. I have multiple figures and plushies all down here, and then all over the house as well. My first big plushie I ever got was of Toothless, and I also plan on getting a Toothless tattoo someday. So this franchise means so much to me, so surely this makes me mad that they remade it, right? How dare they destroy something so sacred? But wait, they didn't destroy it. In fact, this is one of, if not, the best remake I've seen in forever. DreamWorks nailed something that Disney constantly fails at. Besides Pete's Dragon, dragons, man, they're just incredible. I did a whole review on the Pete's Dragon remake, go watch that. Thank you. Like, I'm not afraid to say, I want to get this on 4K Blu-ray. I want more. I loved it and it had me crying in the theater. Hey guys, Blazie here, and welcome to this review of a live-action How to Train Your Dragon movie. I saw it in cinemas last Friday, so it's been a week, so I've had time to chew on it a little bit. But man, it's been a long time since I left a movie theater with a big smile on my face. It's been a very long time. I was so worried I was just wasting my money, and the only good thing that day was this Toothless plushie I bought at the cinema. But my god, they did it. They recaptured the magic. This movie is full of heart, soul, passion, and of course, awesome dragons. And you guys know I love dragons. I have Falcor here, I have Drake from Dragonheart 2 tattooed on me. I love dragons, and I loved seeing them in live action. Like, I've seen comments saying it's soulless. Did we see the same movie? Because the point where the movie and story matter is done in a way that it understands the importance of those scenes, which I will get into much later. So stick around, like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. Yay, thank you. So it makes me think that you don't understand the importance of those scenes. Comments saying they hate it because it's the same movie, but then people hate Lilo and Stitch remake because it's different. So what do you want? Different or the same? Look, I'm always down for a live-action remake because it's just a different medium. Like when listening to a metal cover of a pop song. It's the same exact song, just done differently. There's a few different versions of Simple and Clean from Kingdom Hearts, but no one complains about that. People need to get off their high horse and stop saying there's no effort put into it. Like, what a way to say F you to those who created the amazing sets and the actors who worked their butts off and the animators that did an incredible job. The effects are really, really good. Like, you're there for the dragons, and the dragons look incredible. Especially the big red death looks so good. Yes, sure, it's a cash grab for DreamWorks as a company, but the ones who worked on this movie put real heart into it. The heart of this movie, Hiccup and Toothless, work really well. Toothless looks absolutely great, so much more better than what I thought he might look. Like, he has all these different range of emotions. There are times where, sure, it doesn't work as well, but then I feel like he's like extra cheeky in this movie with little chuckles he does now and then, so he still has his sassiness and his cuteness and his fearsomeness. It's all on display, so I really do like Toothless here. He's just as cute and has new moments as well that make him super cute. Yes, there are moments they cut out and that sucks, but there are other moments that are good, or yeah, new moments that are good, so it's okay. If they had those moments removed, with no other like cute moments, cute different moments with Toothless, then yeah, sure, it would absolutely suck, absolutely. But because they did have other little scenes that make him cute, it's like, okay, you know what, I'll take it. Mason Thames as Hiccup works so much more better than I thought it would. He's very believable as this like loser, underling, like the weak, awkward Viking. He did a really good job. Nico Parker as Astrid was better than I thought as well, but also like, she was fine. A lot of people say she's wooden in her acting, and yeah, sure, if you take certain scenes and compare them, yeah, they're different performances with a lot less energy. But as you're sitting there watching the movie, It works because in the end, yes, they are the same characters, but this is a different medium. Animation is very expressive, over expressive in fact. That's people just don't seem to understand. That if you have a character just constantly like this all the time, it looks weird. It looks weird when you have like an actual human just, you know, overacting. It just looks stupid. And so while Astrid more so comes across as just angry with Hiccup in the original movie, she comes across more annoyed because it goes into like a bit more detail here, with her having to try harder because Hiccup is the son of a chief and he's going to be chief someday. So she feels a need to prove herself. They do this whole little extra scene there with her, and it does work. So she's just kind of annoyed at the privilege he gets. So it works for me in what they did here, make her just kind of just annoyed and tired of him, compared to just being outright angry. Gerald Butler returning as Stoic, damn, he did a fantastic job. An absolutely incredible job. There's so much weight to his words. Like, you can really tell he loved this character. And having a chance to be there and act it out, like, he saw an opportunity to elevate Stoic and Hiccup's and father-son relationship, and it's great. I loved every scene with him. Also, the scene in the opening where Stoic fist fights a monstrous nightmare is amazing in live action. Like, that's one of the things that shouldn't really translate over from animation to live action. But it does make Stoic seem like so much more of a badass, because yeah, of course, he could punch a dragon in animation, but seeing him do it in live action is just so much more hilarious and just so much more cool. Honestly though, a standout character for me that I did not expect was Gobber. Because, well, while the comedy is different with him, like, he does say a lot of the same lines, for the most part, like, everything is still the same, but I also feel like his lines are the most different. I actually really liked what they did with Gobber in this movie. Gobber has always been a bit of like a second father to Hiccup, and they really played with that. And he's really encouraging to Hiccup and really wants him to succeed. And I quite like that. I like their relationship in this movie. I ain't saying he's better, much prefer the original Gobber, but for this version, it works. Like, they added more emotional depth to his character, and I really liked what they did. And then for the other characters, Snotlout for example, honestly, I liked this version better. Yeah. Like, he's such a simp for Astrid that it's very cringy. It's extremely cringy. It's the same kind of cringiness as the first movie. But it just becomes funny how hard he tries in this version. But then they do something different with his story, where his dad ignores him, and so they randomly, like, add these moments that made him feel human. I feel like it's something from a TV show where his dad, like, expected more of him all the time, and so he had to try and prove himself, and so they do that in this. And it just, yeah, makes him feel like there's so much more going on in his life to make him the way he is. That, yeah, I kind of really liked him by the end. Like, he still wasn't great or anything like that, like, I don't really like Snotlout in general, but they did something here that did work. That did make me like him in the end. The twins are fine. I wasn't really a fan of them in the first movie anyway, and they're about the same here. Some jokes work, others not as much. Like, most of it comes down, like, there's a lot of, like, music and, like, a lot of just, like, action and things, kind of other sound effects happening. So when they're talking, you can't hear some of the jokes compared to the original movie. Like, for example, him saying, "Oh, I'm very much hurt."
Oh, I'm hurt! I am very much hurt! Oh, I'm hurt! I am very much hurt!
Yeah, they cut that out. Kinda. It's kinda ADR'd in one scene where he's kind of walking away and says it kinda quietly. It's a bit weird. Like, it's like, oh, they forgot to put it in, so they had to kind of, like, slid it in there while he's not actually talking or anything on scene or something. It's weird, but whatever. Like, the personalities are still there. Fishlegs I really liked. He's much more of a nerd. He has, like, cards he made of all the dragons, which I also believe is something from a TV show, so I love them adding stuff from the show. And I like how much he supports Hiccup a lot in the movie. Like, those two are good friends in the TV show because they're both just dragon nerds. So I liked what they did here. Yeah, he doesn't get a whole lot to do, but I liked what they did. Like, he's not exactly better or worse than the original. He's just there. He's just fine. Because I understand a lot of people love these characters, but you gotta look at them from just like the first movie standpoint, not or anything else, not the TV shows or anything like that, just from the first movie and how much they're in the first movie, what they say in the first movie. They don't really do a lot, they're just kind of there. I also liked in the opening of the movie, which was brilliant by the way, I was all in right away. They captured it perfectly. My only complaint is the movie is really dark now and then, especially here during the night scene. It is especially dark, and that really sucked, because then it was kind of hard to just see the village. But at least all the dragons are setting things on fire, so all the fire kind of helps light it up, I guess. It's one of those reasons I would like it on 4K, so I could up the brightness and actually see everything. So I do agree on that it is dark, and that sucks. But the kids then are the firefighting crew, so they put out all the fires. I like they explained that, so basically they're out on the field while Hiccup stays inside. Because I remember in the original, Hiccup says their job is so much more cooler. But what job is that? It made it kind of hard to understand if they themselves actually go and hunt and kill dragons and, like, help the village in that kind of way. But no, they're the firefighters. I like that. Another character they built on was Gerthy, the village elder. They just gave her more to do, and it's just like, she's just more present, while in the original, she just randomly shows up, and it's like, who is that? So that's an improvement to me. But enough about the characters, let's talk about the positives. I like the change to Berk to include more diversity. They made it that Berk is now a central hub for all the villagers and warriors from far-off lands, because it's the entire world that's dealing with dragons, and have stayed there for generations to find the nest. I like this change for this version, because it makes sense within a real-life world. And then the music. Oh my gosh, the music. Yes, it's all the same, but it's nice that it's all there, and whatever new stuff is also pretty good. The actors also did a great job with what they were given. Sure, some of the dialogue doesn't quite translate as well, and some of the comedy is a hit and miss, but some of the new comedy actually does work. Like, there's a running joke of Astrid saying she'll be chief, or just get out of my way. And Hiccup is just like, yeah, go for it, you can do it, my dad would love it. And then Astrid always has, like, such a confused look on her face, and I love it. That's a running joke that really does work, and does fit in well. Like, they would take away a few lines and some comedic moments, but then they would do something else that made me like the scene. Like, Hiccup doesn't do his Scottish impression, that's just been taken out.
Excuse me, barmaid. I'm afraid you brought me the wrong offspring.
But then when Hiccup says he just wants to be one of you guys and closes the door, Gobber says to himself, I know you do. And it's a really nice addition to that scene after taking a moment out. Because then they put something in that works for this version. I really liked how more touching that scene was. The CGI is pretty good. There's never a moment I'm like, ew, like most Marvel movies. The dragon looks really impressive. I'm pretty happy with their designs. The big bad of the end, the Red Death, looks great. The big fight at the end looked as good as I hoped it would. They expanded on it as well, and I like some of the new jokes and action scenes in that moment. Speaking of new scenes that I do consider a positive is during the montage of Hiccup and Toothless getting along and Hiccup learning what he can use in the arena. There's two things here I like. In the original with Barf and Belt coming up to Hiccup and then suddenly it cuts to Hiccup saying back to them and pushing him back. And yeah, he has an eel on him. Now, it's done that you see Barf and Belt sniffing him first and start to recoil away, and Hiccup realizes it's the eel. It's small, but I like the addition there. And then instead of grass he uses with Meatlug, it's now a dandelion, like the ones you blow on and they go with the wind. Now it's used to make the dragon sneeze. I like that. I think that works much better because it was hilarious just watching Meatlug roll away as he's sneezing. And it does just make more sense with just a tiny thing of grass suddenly making the dragon docile. I like that Volker, Hiccup's mum, is mentioned quite often in a way that gives more of a reason why Stoic hates dragons, because they took his love away. And so now he's much more protective of Hiccup because of that. I actually like that. I'd like they added so much more of that kind of emotion to it. And again, Gerald Butler just sells it. He added so much more emotion to Stoic, and it really worked. Like during the big moment where the two argue and blow up at each other.
You've killed hundreds of us! And we've killed thousands of them!
He mentions they took your mother away, and it just adds so much more to that scene that I didn't think I wanted, but it works. And of course, Hiccup and Toothless. Yes, most of the scenes with them are exactly the same as the original, but with some added dialogue or new ways around it. But like, I love seeing them play, and Hiccup scratching him and slowly like pants to see Toothless kicking his leg like a dog. That's a new little scene they added, or like a new way to do the scratching scene, and I like what they did with it. I really do. That little scratching scene I like more in the live action than in the original. Same when he does it with Stormfly, I like the way they did it. Like, Toothless still does have a lot of expression, and his personality is there on display. And of course, Test Drive, the big flying scene. Now, they did remove him slapping Hiccup in the face, kinda. I think it's there, just not shown up close. I did kinda notice a moment where he kinda swings his head a little, and Hiccup does respond with, yeah, I'm on it. And I do believe that's what it's meant to be, but it still feels epic with a new arrangement of the music, the cinematography, generally good 90% of the time. Like, there's just a good sense of scale and wonder with that scene. If I do have any complaints, it's a thing that the director said. They made it in a way that Toothless is so fast that you have trouble keeping up with him. That's not a good thing. In a movie where I want to see the characters, I get what he's trying to do, but that's not a good thing. Now, it's not exactly shaky cam. I hate shaky cam so much. It's ruined so many movies for me. But like, what it is, it's the best shaky cam I've seen. It's still, like, you could still see them flying, like, nicely enough. The flying scenes are not bad at all. They're really, really not. There's some really good stuff. There's some great shots that I truly loved. I just wish there was more smooth camera movements and clear shots of the two, even when they're flying fast. They did a lot of that in the original. They weren't trying to like keep up with them or anything like that. So that's what I wanted. You know, I want to see the characters. But again, it's really not that bad. Like, I loved the flying in the final battle and during the romantic flight segment, for example. For one, the utter chaos of Toothless flying around with Astrid being terrified, I thought was really good. That matches the camera movement and everything for making it just utter chaos. It works there. And then the calmness of a romantic flight was also then really good. Though they did remove my favourite shot of the movie, they still did do the Northern Lights at least, but they did remove that awesome shot, probably because they couldn't figure it out, because I know I can't. And then there are times when it focuses a little too much on Astrid and Hiccup's reactions and not like Toothless and all of them in one shot, and that kind of sucks. But that's just kind of me wanting to see more of Toothless. That said, they really don't try to hide anything. They really don't. Like, again, the Toothless is fully there, all the dragons are all there, all the CGIs, you know, you see everything, so they're not trying to hide anything. I just want to see more Toothless. Another positive for me is the end scene of Hiccup realizing he lost his leg. Spoiler alert. This bit they did slow down, and it's just a shot of Hiccup on one side and Toothless just watching him on the other. And it lasts for a good few seconds as Hiccup stands up and he's going to walk with his new leg for the first time. But it takes its time, and I really loved that shot. It understood the importance of that moment and took its time with it. I'm pretty sure it's longer than the original, and I really like when he's like walking closer to the door and Toothless kind of just lets him, but keeps a good close eye on him. It's a good detail I really, really loved. So I do want to compare a scene as an example from the Lion King remake and show why that movie has zero heart and soul, while How to Train Your Dragon absolutely has the soul that people say it's soulless. No, this scene here shows it has soul, that it has heart. So the ending scene to me in the original Lion King is hugely important scene and one of the best cinematic moments for me. Simba walking up Pride Walk with that music, the way he looks like Mufasa in one moment but then struggling the next, is great symbolism of his journey, that he's not quite there yet. He still doesn't believe in himself. The water washing away the skull as you see the look on Simba's face and sees he's struggling. But then he looks up, hearing his dad say, "Remember." And then he roars and it's amazing. The music is all synced up and amps up the scene beautifully. I love the boom as he puts his paw down. I love the transition as he wars. So what did they do with his important, incredible moment in the remake? Show Simba walking calmly from a distance, and then he looks up, remembers, and wars completely out of sync with the music, because they clearly just wanted the movie to be over. Because they clearly did not care and understand the importance of this scene. They did not understand the importance of the ending. I bring this up because the ending of the How to Train Your Dragon live-action remake was slow. It understood the utter importance of this scene and the symbolism. And that's why this movie wins me over, because it understood. It wasn't just trying to end the movie. Yes, it helps that it has the same director, but he didn't rush it. He put in the effort and it shows. So what are the negatives then? Again, maybe some smoother camera stuff with the flying would have been nicer. Not every joke hits. Some edits and cuts are a little weird. It works better in the animated version with some of the cuts, but there's some new cuts that are pretty good. Like, honestly, I'm trying to think, of things, and I don't really have that much negative stuff to say. Like, even the romance between Hiccup and Astrid, I think works better in the live action. Like, while I like Astrid and Hiccup as a couple in 2 and 3 in the TV shows, and I really love, their progress in the TV show, from going from, a kind of sort of couple to an actual couple, and then to lovers and that, I really loved what they did there. But it is really forced in the first movie. Like, it comes out of nowhere, and it's just not believable in the slightest. Like, there's one scene in the original that shows that Hiccup likes Astrid, but then never again. But then they added a couple more scenes in the live action, showing she's frustrated with him getting everything. But then, he's actually a good guy who's really trying to make a difference. He's not who I thought he was. Really works in this version better, I think. It's still not very believable or whatever, but I like it showing Hiccup has a crush on Astrid throughout the movie. Like him mentioning I might even get a girlfriend. In the original, it's just kind of passed over. But in this one, Gobbo refers to Astrid, and Hiccup gets all embarrassed about it. There's a good couple moments in this version that shows that Hiccup is interested in Astrid. I'm really trying to think of negatives, but there really isn't a lot. Again, there are changes, but then there are also things added, and it might just be a small line, but there's things added that I liked. There are a lot of toothless moments that are changed, like he doesn't get up and walk away on 2 legs to get a barge to start drawing, and that utterly sucks, because that's a part of his personality, and so that's just gone. But I liked they kind of slowed that scene down, and we really see him drawing every part of it. And they're not just doing weird little camera angles or showing Hiccup up close or anything. They take their time with it, and I kind of like what they did. It has a different kind of emotion to it, where it's not silly. It's not just this weird, silly moment. It's like they're not trying to do one joke after another, essentially. It's more has this other emotional kind of feeling to it all, and I kind of like that. So they did something I hated, but then liked. He doesn't sit up like this. Instead, he just kind of sits, and that sucks. Part of a live action is that kind of does make things not necessarily worse, but just kind of boring, and it does take away from his cuteness and silliness. But he does look great, so I really don't mind in the grand scheme of things, because then I do add in other things that make him cute and such. So yeah, you can rightly complain that they got rid of things. They got rid of this cute moment of him. But then you have to explain, there was now this cute moment of him. But a lot of people will just ignore that. There were things I was disappointed by, but I continued watching and I enjoyed what they did instead. Of course, in the end, the original is better. Obviously. There's no denying that. Absolutely not. But does that make it instantly a 1 out of 10 or something like that? No. They're not erasing the original. They're not trying to say this one is better and the only version of the movie. Like I feel Disney tries to do. They just made it a different medium, and that's okay. Like, how many times have we seen Romeo and Juliet? So many times. So many times have we seen different versions of that movie. Sometimes made by the same companies. So this is just the same story told with slightly different variations, which happens all the time. And that's okay. Because again, the heart is in it. I really did love everything about this movie. I loved all the new stuff. I love how cute Toothless is. I loved all the new dragon designs. Yeah, when watching the trailer, I was a little like, yeah. But once I actually got to see them in the movie, it's like, no, they're actually pretty cool. And their designs work without making them look goofy. The acting is good and just music is great. Like, there's nothing to really complain about. I am not going to be that person who just craps all over this movie because, oh, it's the same story. Like, yeah, it's a good story. Yes, I could say the same about The Lion King. Well, the remake is the same story, so surely you'll like that. But again, that movie clearly has no heart or soul put into it. So let's just get into my final score for this movie. I'm really happy to say that the live-action remake of How to Train Your Dragon, to me personally, is a 9 out of 10 foxes. I was teetering between 8 or a 9, but it's so long since I left the theater with a smile on my face, so I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. So yeah, it's not as good as the original, of which I would give a 10 out of 10, but it was really enjoyable. What's gone sucks, but what's new works. Like, a moment they did take away is with the terrible terrors, and it's a cute moment, and it's annoying that they took that away. I don't understand why. The terrible terrors now get, like, no screen time at all. They're in there, but yeah, they're just kind of there. And I don't understand why this scene was taken out. And so he doesn't exactly learn that dragons aren't fireproof on the inside. But I want to guess my reasoning for it is Toothless firing his little fire into like one of the other dragons and explodes his insides. He exploded his insides. So I understand why that's not in live action, because yeah, that dragon's dead. That dragon is absolutely dead. With Toothless just blasting his insides like that. So I can kind of understand. That's my excuse for them getting rid of it. Because, yeah, he clearly just killed that dragon. It sucks it's not there, but there's heart put into this movie. And Hiccup and Story's actors gave it their all. They did a tremendous job, and the emotions are there. I teared up twice during, like, the hand scene and the ending scene. It's all really well done. Dreamworks nailed their first live-action remake, and there is a sequel in the works, and I'm curious about it. I do hope they change up the story though and go with the original idea of Valka being the villain, so Hiccup's mum. That would actually be pretty cool. Like, I understand them making the first one spot on to the original, but I think it's okay for the second movie to kind of branch out a bit. I'm looking forward to it no matter what. I'm so happy that this was a good movie. Like, I told my housemate who went and like saw it with me, like, I'm sorry if I'm in a bad mood after this. But I wasn't. Like, I really am wanting to get it on 4K. I wish I was joking, but I really do. I want to watch it at home so I could, yeah, up the brightness and see, just watch it again, because maybe I am a little bit crazy or something. Because then my score might go up or down. I don't know, but I enjoyed myself. And again, this is coming from a super fan who has watched the first movie countless times. So many times that I recognized every single line and every single new line put in. Anyway, guys, I think that's it for now. Like, I do recommend seeing it in theaters. I'll say, yeah, like, just to say screw you, Disney. I think you need to watch this at least once, but I'm also happy for you to wait and watch it on streaming or something like that. I really do. Like, make up your own choice on it for sure. Like, there's nothing in this movie that's just insulting to the original. There's nothing bad or just doesn't understand what it is, like Lilo and Stitch remake. There's none of that. It is essentially the same movie with some new lines and then some taken out. So I feel like this is a movie that you have to kind of make your own mind on. I do feel like if you love dragons like myself and want to just see more live action CGI, dragons on the big screen, then I feel like you will like it. Anyway, guys, leave some comments down below if you've seen the movie. I would love to know your thoughts on it. And please do give this video a like and subscribe to my channel, because I love you if you do. Hit that bell icon if this fox says, be who you want to be. Alright guys, bye for now.